Fantasy Dudes Podcast with your hosts, Jonathan and Jake.
All right, and here we are, Jake and Jonathan at the very first Those Fantasy Dudes Podcast, the show where we're going to kind of shoot the shit on a weekly basis, go over our redraft, keeper, and dynasty leagues, do a few mock drafts, talk about some fantasy news, injury updates, and pretty much just dive into our matchups every single week. This particular show, we're going to kind of just give you a little introduction to who we are and do a little dynasty mock draft. So, Jake, finally, dude, we're here. We've been talking about doing this podcast for like literal months, and it's finally about time for the podcast and fantasy football in general. I'm fucking stoked for this. So
I literally need it. I think if fantasy football wasn't coming back right now, I don't know what I'd be looking forward to. But it's been a long time coming. You know, we've been, I think you and I have met up on a weekly basis to shoot the shit about fantasy football since we started playing anyway, and now we're just gonna record it.
Yeah, that's kind of the exact thing I did with the Those Movie Dudes podcast, which is a little plug for my other podcast. But we just talk about movies on Xbox and realized, why don't we just record this and put it on the internet? So I think that's the same exact thing we're going to do here, and probably just make fun of each other's teams and talk shit about each other and say why we think the other person sucks.
I can assure you we'll make fun of your team. That's
my team,
sure.
yeah, particularly. Jake thinks he's great, even though he's only played fantasy football for like 3 solid years.
Are you going to draft Tyler Lockett and Michael Gallup?
Yeah, but do you remember that year that you drafted Le'Veon Bell and he didn't play a single game?
You mean the first year I ever played fantasy football ever?
Yeah.
And my good friend John didn't give me any guidance and just let me draft a guy who wasn't going to play at all?
I was like nose deep in like chicken wings during that draft and beer, from what I remember. And every year I'm like, I'm not going to drink during this draft. I'm not going to do it. And then I do it, but I'm running into that for my work draft. I'm gonna have to stay sober. It's a serious problem. It really is. That's why I looked at my draft.
I gotta run it this year, so
yeah. We gotta keep our shit together. I think if there ends up being a live draft, I'm concerned. Like if we have the whole draft board and everything, that if there's beer and stuff involved and just like people distracting me, I'm gonna have a shit team. So I can't
wait for our first live dynasty. It's tough right now for people, but eventually we'll get that.
Yeah, dude, I'm Jonathan. I've a diehard Patriots fan growing up. I've had season tickets, or my family has, for the past almost 15 years now, I think. We've been going since I was a kid, but we got season tickets back in, I think it was like 2008, like the year after the perfect season, or non-perfect season, 18-1 fucking season. But I've obviously been a huge football fan, and my stepdad actually got me into fantasy football, John, also named John. But I've done some family leagues here and there.
That's not confusing.
Yeah, not at all. Not confusing whatsoever. But yeah, I've done family leagues. I've done leagues where we don't take it that seriously, but only up until the last few years where Jake actually got very invested in fantasy football is where I started to take it a lot more seriously, because there's obviously money involved and I don't want to get my ass handed to me.
You'll come to find out about me that I like to take things way too seriously.
Yeah, Jake likes to take names, man. He really does. He'll make it his he'll have a vendetta against me for the rest of his life if I beat him in fantasy football, especially in the championship.
A friendly vendetta.
Yeah,
it's a friendly.
I don't know
vendetta.
if it's friendly, but
I think it keeps me going, which in this day and age, can you really ask for much more out of something?
It's good to have some friendly competition, I think. And also fantasy football, great way to stay in shape, Great way to stay in shape.
I have had the opposite experience. I find myself drinking and eating awful food every single Sunday. So that's not true, but we are going to give you some actually good fantasy football advice here.
Well, we'd like to think so. We'd like to think that we're semi-informed, and we definitely are. We listen to the fantasy footballers. You might see some comparisons with maybe just the format of our show, or maybe just honestly the players in general that we're going for, just because we're highly influenced by those guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I am probably going to be scoping out during our drafts this year that they've just been hyping up since the summer, because we've been listening to them forever.
It's tough. There's 3 of them. One of them's always going to, kind of have an opinion, unless you want to start selecting god awful players. And then
Antonio Gibson is my champion
to all of them.
So I will be reaching for him.
He's
likely.
Mike's champion too. So it's it's all I'm saying.
Mike makes me want to get tattoos.
If you're doing fantasy football, you're close to the ballers. It doesn't matter. There's 3 of them, and they all got good rankings. So
what about you, Jake? What kind of got you into fantasy other than me begging you to join my league? with Fuck Shack.
So John, I got into fantasy. Yep, my first team name is Fuck Shack. I got into fantasy exclusively because of John. We worked together at a studio while he was graduating school and I was still finishing up, and was not interested. I grew up in Connecticut, so obviously I was a quote unquote Pats fan. Because you had to be, you watch the game. There's, they were in the Super Bowl every other year, so you were at a Super Bowl party. But as I got older and got into college, kind of lost interest because my friends didn't watch it, and then
in video school,
John and I sort of got it's video school.
A surprising lack of sports fans in video school.
I know it's shocking that at a STEM only school that there would be not a lot of sports fans, but hey, And so John got me interested in fantasy, and I drafted Le'Veon Bell first overall over Todd Gurley in the season that Lev didn't play, and Todd Gurley was the number 1 overall running back.
Oh, man, imagine being that stupid or that ignorant. Sorry.
And then hey, you made some decisions, and you actually knew what you were doing. So
good point.
I feel like you should just pipe down here.
Kareem Hunt.
Yep, no.
I couldn't have predicted.
We'll get into that. We don't need to rehash that necessarily right now. But so yeah, John got me involved. Had a pretty bad team right out of the gate. Managed to get James Conner off the waivers and came in dead last. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. No matter the picks you get, you can come in dead last. I since then have won and come in dead last in different leagues, and really the nature, I think, of what I'm trying to accomplish here is giving you the best chance at success. There's no possible way to win fantasy football every year. You're going to make bad trades. You're going to have bad decisions, and I mean the real key of it is rolling with it, and is making do with what you got, and trying to make that trade or trying to get a good waiver pickup and make something happen. So really that's, I think for me is, what I've learned in, from coming in last to, now it's like, well, I give myself the best probability of success and maybe something happens. So that's what I'm hoping to pass on to anybody who's listening.
Yeah. And I think that honestly, you as a person who did start out finishing last and a person that's put a lot of effort into mocks and just overall learning the players and the schemes and just what works well with fantasy, what players to get at a value. I think you know what you're doing. So I think we have a pretty intelligent look into fantasy. So, and for me, I've won leagues here and there. I won a free Yahoo league last year. So that doesn't take zero effort.
That's pretty big time. Yeah.
That takes some effort,
I'm sorry, who did those guys drop in your winners league this year from that league?
Oh, I ended up not being able to get any of them, but they dropped like
Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin went straight to the waivers for somebody.
And Myles Gaskin and Courtland Sutton went to the waivers.
I'm not big on Myles Gaskin this season, but I'm not going to drop him on the waivers for.
Well,
God, who was it? It was some garbage player too. It was not. There was no upside.
Oh no, he picked up Jamal Williams. So
that's a good trade.
Upside.
I think Jamal Williams is going to get Myles Gaskin last year workload in Detroit with Swift there. So I know we are hypothetically talking about some idiot in your random Yahoo free league.
Can we call him out right now? Hold on.
This is a real Yeah, pull up his name. Let
me see if his email is public. How about that? We'll email. I'll put his email, and you guys can all message.
We're not going to actually dox this dude on.
It is Brunton's crazy team, so he's yet to change his team name unless he actually came up with that. I don't know.
Well, you know what? At least he's living up to his name because that is a pretty crazy move of him.
We have honestly 3 leagues of record that we're really going to be talking about. The actual league of record is a keeper league that I've been running as the commissioner since 2015. I haven't won it since 2015, but that is now a keeper league.
'Cause you're bad.
Yeah, because I suck. And we have 2 keepers in that league. Jake joined that back in 2018, which is the year that he picked Le'Veon Bell as the first overall pick.
Hey, who did I pick in the 14th round the next year?
Last season that would be Justin Jefferson. Yeah, good pick.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I was talking about the year before where I picked Lamar Jackson in his unanimous MVP season.
Oh, yeah, and then Aaron Jones got a breakaway touchdown. You lost. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So, anyways, that is the
Man, that one hurt.
Sorry. Imagine starting Michael Gallup over Tyler Lockett, the most consistent receiver of all time, and losing to Jeff Hoke. Or I lost to you, but I've lost to Jeff Hoke.
Can you name drop Jeff Hoke on here?
Get Hoked, everybody. No, but anyway, so that is one league. The other league is just a regular redraft league. Where we have
just no keepers. That's all of our college friends.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
That's a fun league.
We got some old college professors, or I'm gonna say former. Well, they're not former. Our former college professors, in there, and some friends from college.
Oh, dude, that kid. The guy who came in last year.
Yeah,
had to go through all of his losses. And he had to eat a raw onion as he told us why he lost each and every week.
See, I didn't know that was going to be I knew he was going to eat the onion, but I didn't know he had to go through every loss. Did he just do that, or were we told him to do that?
No, that was required.
That's hilarious.
I'm so excited for the last place prize in that league this year. Basically, we're all going to pick select three music videos or three songs, and the loser gets to pick between the three to make a music video. And it's awesome because, like we said earlier, we went to
I didn't even know. I did not agree to this. What is this all about?
Yeah,
what?
Well,
I had no idea.
Majority rules, I guess.
Okay, that sounds cool, actually.
And it was in the group, but so the cool part is, everybody's a video student, but there are a couple who are not, that have just filled in the roles. So we're gonna either get just an absolute awful masterpiece, or we're all going to get to laugh at somebody who is filming.
I would make it as good as I possibly could. Like, I would make it an epic video if possible, if I lost.
I would have given up ever winning another fantasy league to watch you eat a raw onion.
I mean, I like onions, but usually if they're like caramelized or in some sort of context like that.
Brutal. All right, so then we have the Dynasty League, and I think the Dynasty League that's going to be kind of our baby from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, and we're doing a Dynasty mock draft today, so that it really is the league that I think that, I mean, at least this is our first year doing it. It's a startup draft, so we've been hyped about this one for a long time. I've probably done 60, I mean, 70 mock drafts.
I think fantasy. I think the 2020 season ended, and like no sooner did I turn around and go, "We got to talk about Dynasty League."
Yeah, man.
Because it was just I knew it would take a lot of work for us to get to the point of actually doing it, but we did, and we got. I'm really surprised at how many people we got. Like, I mean, we did get a lot of people who are big into football, which is good, but just people I wouldn't have expected to be this invested. And I guess it is the first year, so we'll see.
No, and it did take me a while to kind of explain it to people because a lot of people don't know what it is. It's been around for a while, but I don't think it's been in the mainstream for that many years.
Still, I mean, truthfully, that's part of the reason. To me, part of the reason we're starting this podcast is because there's not a lot of good, cohesive dynasty startup and rookie draft advice. A lot of the time you're either getting it as a bonus to something else, or it's not fun and engaging. It's just like some dudes putting out their Excel spreadsheets that they're using. Well, you and I were picking the platform we were going to use because we were trying to figure out what to use, and we landed on Sleeper, which, by the way, absolutely use it.
Yeah, it's great so far.
It's only getting better, and it's already really great. Just use Sleeper. You're going to transfer your league to Sleeper in 3 years anyway.
But I'm so excited to get started with this, dude. It's gonna be a hell of a good time. I honestly just doing a mock draft for that compared to like a redraft mock draft, it's like my team looks completely different. So it's gonna be interesting, dude.
Different.
It's gonna be very interesting. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get right into our Dynasty mock draft. We're gonna do probably the first 15 rounds because our particular league, it's gonna be 25 rounds. In terms of roster, we got QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, a tight end, 2 flexes, and we have a kicker currently. Maybe we'll get rid of it.
I'm team anti-kicker.
Yeah, Jake's team anti-kicker, but I just love Matt Prater so much that I would hate to not have him on my team to kick me to victory. So
look, just to get into a little bit of rant here, just to get into
who cares? Do you want another roster spot, like another starting spot?
Well, I think my thing with the kickers in the Dynasty League is it's like, to me, what you're creating out of a Dynasty League is you're creating the feeling of doing the front office of a of a franchise.
Yeah.
You're getting to pick those players for long-term success and scout them and all that. And in redraft, a kicker to me makes sense because on any given Sunday, you could lose because of a kicker. But that doesn't necessarily factor into a front office's decisions, if that makes sense.
I suppose, like, if you're playing NFL head coach from
saying?
2006, then you don't really care about who your kicker is. You know,
I guess, yeah. If that's what you have to look at it like to understand what I'm saying, sure.
We're gonna have to put it up to a league vote because I just think it's nostalgic for me to have a kicker, but I do see where you're coming from.
Look, I'm fine with what if the league is like very pro kicker, but I have to imagine they're going to be very anti kickers.
We already got rid of our defense, by the way. I didn't mention that, but no defense in Dynasty. It's not really. Yeah, doesn't really make any sense. Definitely anti defense.
All right, you ready to kick this off?
Yeah, might as well. Right, Jake does have the 1-3, and I'm drafting at the 1-10. So Jake is going to.
These are our real picks.
This is exactly where we're picking.
Startup.
Correct.
So this, yeah.
Here we go.
Mock draft.
Off the board, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. That's what I expect to see. In every mock draft, that's kind of what I've seen. I actually was talking to one of our other league mates, Sterling, today, and he's got the 4. And he was asking me like, "Hey, what are you taking?" Obviously, it doesn't matter to him because whatever I take, I can take.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's Taylor. I can't come up with a good reason to take Alvin Kamara over him because I get the performance of Alvin Kamara. I get he's an elusive guy. I get elusive guys last a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, he's got a wishy-washy quarterback right now. We don't know if it's Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. He's got
who does Jonathan Taylor
wide receiver
have,
who's
Carson Wentz for 1 year until
it doesn't matter. He has everybody else. All they have to do is draft a quarterback, which they're going to do this next year, ideally, or trade for somebody. They've got the best O-line. Well, I mean, one of the top 5, inarguably best O-lines. His competition is a dude who just tore his Achilles, which I don't know if you've ever looked into people who have torn their Achilles, running backs who have torn their Achilles.
Doesn't go well, typically.
No one comes back. And it's certainly Marlon Mack, of all people, is not going to be the guy to change that. That's it. That's my Jonathan Taylor spiel. That's me justifying why I'm picking Jonathan Taylor, because it's tough to pass up Alvin Kamara, because 2 years ago, Alvin Kamara's
in Dynasty. I would have loved to have Alvin Kamara 2 years ago. I did pick him in my redraft Yahoo Winners League as my first overall pick. I think I had the 4th pick, and I love Alvin Kamara, so I took him.
I mean, you're talking to an Alvin Kamara guy here.
I know, yeah, of course, yeah. Jake's won leagues with Alvin Kamara, so I get it.
Big Alvin Kamara guy. I've also lost leagues with Alvin Kamara and Zeke.
I've lost against Alvin Kamara.
You never ever can guarantee fantasy football, even with 2 top 5 running backs.
And that's the thing. Speaking of Zeke Elliott, I'm staring at Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, DK Metcalf, Elliott, AJ Brown, and Najee Harris for me are the guys that I'm looking at to draft with my 110 pick here.
I will think less of you as a human being if you don't take Justin Jefferson here.
So here's the thing. I have been very hesitant on taking a wide receiver with my first overall pick. Just with Dynasty, running backs are thin, and there's some really, really good talent in the first round here, even though the first 7 running backs are already off the board.
But you can get Justin Jefferson for a decade.
You can get Justin Jefferson for way, way, way more than he should be valued at. The 3rd overall receiver, no. I don't want Justin Jefferson.
What?
Not
in Dynasty, it makes sense. You're gonna look at me and tell me if I told you could have Randy Moss going into his sophomore year, you wouldn't want Randy Moss going into his sophomore year. This dude just broke his record. He just broke the rookie receiving record. If Justin Herbert doesn't play last year, this is the offensive rookie of the year. This is the guy that everyone's talking about. This is the dude who quietly broke a freaking Randy Moss record.
Here's the thing.
Think about all the incredible wide receivers that have come through between Moss and Jefferson that didn't break this record.
I care about my overall team, and I care about a lot of the wide receivers between rounds 4 and 8 that are in their second year that could put up similar fantasy points to Justin Jefferson, who still has Thielen for the next 2 years that's going to snipe targets from him.
Or soak up coverage 1.
It is what it is. I mean, I love Justin Jefferson.
I see an argument against Justin Jefferson as Kirk Cousins had to throw the ball last year.
And they have a much better
That was-
defense
I
this
mean,
year.
that was
Also,
winning the
Frank is
game.
going to take him with the
Defense
5.
is up.
Frank is going to take
Frank's
Jefferson.
totally going to take
So
him
it
with the
doesn't
5,
matter.
so.
If I'm going to take
Yeah.
a player here, I'm taking Zeke because he looks great.
I like Zeke in redraft this year a lot. I like Zeke a lot in redraft, but Dynasty,
I'm here for team balance, so I'm taking Zeke with this first pick, and then we're going to hope that Najee makes it back.
but think about how upset you're going
And
to
he
be
does.
when I take Tony Pollard later.
I don't care. Take Tony Pollard and keep him on your bench. I don't care. You can have him. It doesn't matter to me. But right here,
Are you you're going Najee Harris? You're not taking your boy, your champion?
no, I'm not taking my champion in this particular draft. I have him in other leagues, but Najee, I'm going for the older guy, mid-tier guy with Ezekiel Elliott at 26 years old, who's going to go off this year. I'm trying to win every year, not in 3 years. So I'm taking Najee Harris in my second pick. Jefferson went off the board. Dobbins went off the board before that. Fuck, man. And Metcalf and Mahomes. So, yeah, I'm taking Najee with my 2-3.
I cannot, dude. I am a massive Ravens fan. I cannot understand people drafting Dobbins
In
there.
the second round.
don't
That's
get it.
astonishing to me.
I don't get it. He's a phenomenal running back. He's amazing. If he was somewhere where he's going to be the bell cow, absolutely. You have somebody who rushes for 1,000 yards at quarterback. You have Gus Edwards, who is kindly the best number 2 in all of the NFL. And then
Kareem
you
Hunt.
have, I mean, well, yeah.
But young,
Fair
I guess,
enough,
in terms of dynasty.
but
I'd
he's
say
but
Gus,
that's I mean
yeah.
that's a different situation. The reason Kareem Hunt's there is because he kicked a lady. Like that's
Okay.
the reason he's not.
Speaking
I mean, realistically, like that's the reason is he had off the field issues.
He would have been
And
insane in KC for so many more
He
years.
would if he had
dude.
stayed in Kansas
damn
City,
it.
you'd be looking. I mean, he's the RB1. What happened is Cleveland got a steal and might just squander both of their amazing running backs. So in between you and me, we lost, Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. Those are some big names at wide receiver. Kelsey went off the board, which is surprising because in like every one of my drafts, he's falling to my third pick.
Really? So yeah, he went with the 2-6, which honestly, in the mocks we did with actual
really
human
early.
beings, he didn't go for at least 3 rounds. So yeah,
People don't want it. It's such an enigma. It's like this is a guy who's been, I'm pretty sure, tight end 1 for like 5 years.
at least 5 or 6 years.
I mean, I know for a fact it's 3 for sure.
He's 31.
And
I mean-
he's a tight end. You know, if you look at like historically, tight ends play very far past 31. It's interesting because in most of these running backs that you're looking at, Zeke, you don't expect to play Zeke in 3 years, right? I would assume you.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
expect to
running
play
back
him
is
in 3
definitely the
years.
position that expires the quickest, but you're looking at quarterback and tight end are the guys that are out there the longest, and Kelsey's honestly still in the prime of his career. So at 2-6,
That's what I'm saying. So it's I'm if it comes around in our real draft and he's still there at my third, I've had so much trouble not going Jonathan Taylor, Clyde.
And honestly, wait till the turn for me with the 310. If Kyle Pitts or Waller is still there, that's going to be hard to pass up as well. So
what's going on right here is we've got Calvin Ridley. He's a big consideration. Right now, the guys I'm looking at are Calvin Ridley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Gibson, and CeeDee Lamb. I'm not going to take CeeDee Lamb because I don't need to right here. If he falls to my third pick, he falls to my third pick. Great.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, I don't care. I like him, but I'm not.
it kills me because
not
I can't have him in this league.
Yeah.
It's not possible for me to get him unless I mean, there's no way. So it pains
what
me
I
to see him
really
go.
what I've been doing here is, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a terrible efficiency last year. The exact stats I don't have them with me, but I mean almost twice what everybody else scores for a touchdown rate. So even just a normal regression, I'm happy with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I'm gonna go ahead and take him here and see who falls back to me because I'm happy with a lot of people here.
Oof. Well, okay.
Ooh.
Are you forced to take a
So-
third running back here? I don't know.
That's kind of the deal. It's I either take, so here's what happened. Calvin Ridley went off, Antonio Gibson, George Kittle, CeeDee Lamb. Those are the 4 dudes I would have considered. George Kittle to a lesser extent. I'm not really that interested in him, but I was really hoping to get Antonio Gibson or Calvin or CeeDee coming back because starting off with Jonathan Taylor and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who are both, both 22, both going to be solid running backs for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Barring any serious injury and things you can't predict. To pair those with CeeDee Lamb or Calvin Ridley, who's going to be a solid wide receiver for that same amount of time, would have been really nice. But
too good to be
right
true.
now, my options are between Eckler and Mixon. We are in a PPR league. I like Eckler. Mixon scares me.
To have Eckler
really
in your
don't
flex for 2 years would be insanity. Maybe they draft a guy next year. They probably will.
But also, what here's what my thought process is maybe I use him this year, see how my season's going. If I'm not, because I'll walk away with a king's ransom if I can. He's probably gonna have an incredible season, so hopefully that's something I can do. But either way, amazing flex option and a great backup guy to have, because any given week he's out there, he's gonna catch 5 passes, he's gonna rush 10 to 15 times, and maybe get a touchdown. So
yeah, there's no way I could
think
pass
that's my
on him.
guy.
I would have to take him. I love Austin Eckler. I actually saw him in person when I worked at a hotel, and I said, "Hey, I'm starting you this week against the Dolphins," and he said, "Thank you." So I hate you for taking him right
he's
there.
He's a cool dude, actually. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his.
He's also fucking jacked this year. Have you seen him? He is in insane shape. So, dude, Austin Eckler all day long. I love your team so far.
Big pick on that one. Ooh, a couple of quarterbacks off the board here.
Yeah, so actually we got Kyler Murray went directly after Eckler. Kyle Pitts went off the board before Waller. We got Joe Mixon, Terry McLaurin, Josh Jacobs, and Josh Allen. So, yeah, like I said, if Waller was there, I would be very inclined to take him in this position. The other guys that are here, we got Jamar Chase, which I think, it's Dynasty, but again, it's pretty high to take him personally.
Jamar Chase sucks.
Okay, all right.
That's a very. I know it's
he's also on a shit team.
Pick.
So
he's a great player.
I'd rather have T. Higgins.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything come out of camp where I've been like, yeah, it was worth.
I heard he can't get separation, but he also hasn't played since 2019, so there's that, thanks to COVID. So I'm between Waller and Montgomery. The only reason is because, I really, really do like Montgomery. I'm really big on him this year, but I know for a fact he's not going to make it to me in the 3rd round. He's not going to in the real draft. So I do think Waller.
Montgomery? In the real draft?
Frank's going to take
him. In the real draft,
him.
I think Montgomery.
Frank's going to take him.
I guess, yeah.
I just know
there'll be value somewhere else.
Yeah, so I'm going to do this as if I was doing our actual draft. I'm happy with Elliott and Najee. I'm going to grab a number 1 tight end for the next 5-6 years with Darren Waller.
So you came back around.
So Montgomery went.
Take Michael Thomas here?
No, I don't want Michael Thomas. No fucking thank you.
No one wants Michael Thomas.
Speaking of the Saints,
I really wonder where he's really going to end up in the actual draft. I'm curious. You taking Godwin here? This seems like a Godwin
So
pick.
I'm taking Godwin just for the sole purpose of the fact that I'm going to try to get Tom Brady late in this draft because I want that stack.
You know what I've really liked doing here?
What's that?
Is trying to get the stack with Tom Brady, but also grab Antonio Brown.
With any of them, I'd be happy with.
Because, no. Because, if you pick up Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin goes out, Antonio Brown's stock goes up. Antonio Brown goes out, Chris Godwin's stock goes up. And having them both, you can still play.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You could still play them.
You can get both of them.
So that's right. Or, maybe one of them has a blow up week and you trade them. So love any of the Tampa Bay wide receivers this year because they have huge perceived value,
guaranteed volume, 100%.
Yeah, so great pick, love that.
Yeah, I am tempted by ETN here, but I think it's too high. I really do think it's too high to draft him when I already have 2 solid running backs. So I'm going Godwin.
Would you draft James White in the 4th if you could, going into his rookie year?
James White? No.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one here, John. This is my hometown
Oh my
bias.
God, yeah.
I love Lamar Jackson through and through. He really. I think if I don't draft Lamar Jackson in my 2nd year of fantasy, I don't think I love fantasy as much. Truly, I think that he was so fun to watch and be connected to that it just made me love fantasy.
I totally get that, and I think that's
I like Keenan Allen. I don't want Keenan Allen Dynasty.
You already have Eckler at this point as well. You're going to watch the Chargers every week?
No.
No.
So it's Lamar Jackson here. Simple, easy. What I'm hoping is that Team 3 doesn't take okay, this is my biggest dilemma of the draft, or has been. Do I take Mark Andrews here, get the stack with Lamar Jackson, which I love, big, huge Ravens fan, or do I take Javonte Williams?
So all the fantasy gurus would tell you not to do that because you're paying too much, and taking a QB and tight end would really set you up for failure in terms of depth if you're taking them in the first 5 rounds.
Does it though? Because I've done so many drafts where I've done this, and then I've taken nothing but wide receivers from here on out.
And there's a lot of options, at least in Dynasty, where
I don't hate it.
It's not the end of the world if, say, Elijah Moore doesn't do anything this year, if you take him in the 9th round.
Well, because in redraft, Keenan Allen isn't a 5th round pick.
No.
You know, like that's so there, like stuff like that changes. So you have, you know, my consideration here because it's Dynasty is Amari Cooper, Mark Andrews, Javonte Williams. It's a struggle. This is one of those.
The Ravens is an offense I'm scared to be a part of unless I have Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. You'd have the 2 guys that I would be interested in having on my team.
The two that you'd want. So, but Javonte Williams is just with the depth I have at running back. It's hard to pass up Javonte because I don't need him to perform right out of the gate. And if he blows up at the end of the season, for all intents and purposes, I should win unless I've had an awful season. If I get, you know, another RB1 stacked onto these 3 RBs this season, it's going to be a tough thing to beat.
Jake did take Javonte Williams, Hawkinson, Kupp, Andrews, Ayuk, Dak Prescott, and Devonta Smith went off the board. I'm on the clock here.
You got to take Cooper here.
Yeah,
That's
Amari Cooper is still on the clock or on the board here.
That's such an unbelievable value.
Yeah, that's actually insane. And I think it's just because he still has an injury, but I've heard that he's doing a lot better now. He's probably going to be fine by week 1.
Even if he's not, he just turned 27. It's Dynasty. He's so unbelievably old with so many years of experience. He's been in the league since 2015. He just turned 27.
He's young as shit. And I don't know why I've always thought he was old, but he's literally, like you said, he came in the league maybe 5 years ago.
If I recall correctly, him and Calvin Ridley came in at the same time.
I don't want Galladay. He's got a camp string, and he is on a terrible fucking team. So Julio Jones is also 32, and he's in a new team as well. So I don't know, man. Julio Jones is the same age as AJ Green, who's going in like the 17th round, and he's actually going to be legitimate wide receiver 2 on the Cardinals.
If you pay attention to the Arizona Cardinals, you might get to see AJ Green get hit so hard his bones actually turn to dust.
Jesus Christ. I'm just trying to find a value in the same realm of Julio Jones here that you don't have to spend a 5th round pick on. But yeah, I am going to go with Amari Cooper. Yeah. So, damn. I was kind of hoping Judy would make it back to me. But yeah, Judy, Julio Jones.
He's a great dynasty pick, dude. Yeah. Talk about an incredible talent.
Galladay, Gaskin off the board. I'm looking at Russell Wilson.
I know this is a tough one for you two. You're not looking at Russell Wilson. I know exactly the 2 you're looking at.
Well, I'm saying what's actually in front of my face. But yeah, I'm not actually going to draft Russell Wilson here.
Or James Robinson. This is a clear pick for you. Look, what's on the board is Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. 2 people that John loves.
I do love
If John could draft both of them, he would draft both of them.
I do love both of them. You know who I'm not taking? Jalen Waddle, Tyler Lockett, Adam Thielen.
Ugh, dude, I don't understand people with Jalen Waddle. Didn't play that much in college. He's already has a nagging injury. Don't get it.
He's maybe going to be the 3 on a team with a quarterback that's unproven. So yeah, it's not worth. I just
don't understand. It doesn't. It seems like the floor really isn't there, and neither is the ceiling. So
yeah, and I like his name. He's kind of like a penguin. We'll call him the Penguin. Jalen Waddle.
Make your pick.
Yeah, I'm taking Deontay Johnson here. I've had him on teams before. Maybe it's just because he's done well for me in the past, but I'm a little bit scared with Chase Claypool because I think he's more of a boomer bust type of guy. He's not going to get the volume that Deontay Johnson gets, even though he is Butterfingers. But I'm taking Deontay Johnson.
All right, we lost in between that James Robinson, Chase Edmonds, Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Chark, and Adam Thielen.
Chase Claypool's still on the board, and you've yet to draft a wide receiver as well. So keep that in mind.
I've yet to draft a wide receiver, and here's the thing: since I missed out on Andrews and Hawkinson and the clear-cut top guys, I'm not going to draft one here. Realistically, I may not even draft one in the first 15 rounds.
A tight end, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's something you want to consider, and it's something I've heard other shows preach, and it's just something I want to make sure people hear. If you don't draft a top clear-cut guy, don't reach on a tight end. Let somebody else take somebody who's maybe wishy-washy and get that locked. Right now, I could take Noah Fant, who maybe he's a top 5, maybe he sneaks in at the 5th, but I doubt it.
A top 5 tight
Or
end.
I could take a guy like Chase Claypool.
That's the thing.
Like that's the thing.
A top 5 tight end doesn't mean he's going to be like the top. It's not like he's going to get the fantasy points of an AJ Brown as the top 5 wide receiver. Like it.
Yeah. So I'm taking Chase Claypool here. He's a young talent. I think he's an electric guy to watch play, and he's a lot of fun. That sucks.
You wanted
Every
Woods.
other wide receiver went off the board. I did want Robert Woods.
Yep.
Old, but he's locked in with Matthew Stafford for 2 more years, maybe 3. Jeez, normally I'm fine with Juju Smith-Schuster as like a wide receiver too. I like Juju Smith-Schuster in Dynasty. He's 24. The Chiefs wanted him, and so did the Ravens last year.
They did.
And
that is true.
I would love to have him on either one of those offenses. I mean, really, think about Juju Smith-Schuster lining up across from Tyreek Hill and him stretching the field, and Juju's doing his slot roll.
That would be madness.
Whatever, 1,400 yards. Or whatever.
I think
that'd be unbelievable.
If they didn't have Kelsey, they would consider it, but they don't need Juju Smith-Schuster on that team.
Right. So I'm really I know it's, I should take a wide receiver here, quote unquote should take a wide receiver here, but I love Michael Carter, dude.
Again, Jake is a huge Jets fan, so
I'm not a huge Jets fan, but I am a huge whoever drafted for the Jets fan this year.
Yeah.
Because Elijah Moore, unbelievable. And then Zach Wilson. I mean, really, they really did a good job this year. And I think if they employ the Shanahan system there, which they're probably going to do, it's going to be incredible. Really, I think it's Michael Carter. I want to lock down those solid running backs. I have good ones. I mean, realistically, if Javonte and Michael Carter both hit, I've got a 4-pack of running backs for the next 4 years that are unbelievable.
Yeah, I do like your team right now. Obviously thin on wide receiver, but you're stacked everywhere else that you need to be. So, but yeah, Trey Sermon went off the board.
Oh, man. I know you wanted him.
Well, I wanted Sutton here. Trey Sermon went off the board right after Carter. Ronald Jones, Juju, Melvin Gordon, Dallas Goedert, Cortland Sutton. So it sucks because I don't want Deebo Samuel. I don't want a guy that's going to run into traffic. I don't want.
I'm taking Laviska Shenault if I'm you here. He's being slept on. You're getting him in the 8th. At the end of the day, who are you really risking to get him? You're risking giving up fucking Noah Fant,
Mike
Odell
Davis.
Beckham Jr., Deebo Samuel. I would say Aaron Rodgers and AJ Dillon are the worst things you're giving up here.
And
so
I'm not going
taking
to draft
Laviska
either of
Shenault.
those guys. So I agree with you actually right here. I think Laviska Shenault is definitely the choice, and I'd have to reach for anyone else that I could probably get on the turn here. So yeah, I am going to go with Shenault here, and mainly because I love the second-year wide receivers. I don't currently have any on my team, but he will be the first.
I mean, if you can't tell by my roster construction right now, I love the Dynasty late round.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's so many more. I know it's not going to make sense for everybody, but
dude, you know what?
I really.
This is crazy right here because I do have AJ Dillon available to me. I also have Justin Fields. I don't want to spend an 8th round pick on him though.
I'm taking AJ Dillon if I'm you. Aaron Jones the wheels are probably going to start falling off Green Bay's offense.
What did he sign? A 2-year deal? A 3-year deal?
I think Aaron Jones is on a 2-year deal. I think, and Rodgers and Adams are both on. Both have 1 year left.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is 26. I think he has one more good year. For me, Aaron Jones, one more good fantasy year at least. But yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think AJ Dillon is the pick. I do love him, and getting him in the 8th round when he could honestly very well be useful this year.
He could. I mean, the only reason I think he wasn't useful last year is because Jamal Williams was also in on stuff. So you take out Jamal Williams, and I think he's got some value this year. And yeah, I think he's a great pick. In between John and I, we lost Michael Pittman. I like him.
2nd-year guy
Corey
as well.
Davis, yep. Fournette and Mostert went off. Mostert is being really slept on. Can't believe I've seen him in the 9th round. You can get the starting running back who is one of the fastest guys in the league in the 9th round of this dynasty. Granted, he's old, injury prone,
Jake,
but
what about Zach Moss? He's the starting running back in Buffalo. Actually, he's not. Singletary is.
Yeah. So Zach Moss is a great pick. He's a good nebulous situation, but they also have a running back for quarterback as well. So
that is in fact
he's gonna
true.
vulture.
Yes.
He's going to vulture a lot. So
You need a wide receiver, Jake, and I think your pick here must be Robbie Anderson.
You already know who it is. You already know who it is. Robbie Anderson, he's been dealing with little camp stuff.
And a former
camp injury,
Jet, so of course you love him. And he's with Sam Darnold.
So, yeah, it's Robbie Anderson here. And that one has been pretty locked in so far. He's almost always there at my 8th pick. He's a great wide receiver.
He looks like he has a literal tarantula on his head at all times with his haircut.
He's got cool hair.
You gotta love the guy.
The problem I keep having here is, well, do I go Damian Harris? And in other drafts, that's been easier because I've gotten, Robert. Like I've been able to get Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Robbie Anderson, and then I don't have to worry about a wide receiver. But right now, I do, and I love this guy. When you reach on a player, you reach because he's talented. Elijah Moore is talented. There's really no two ways to put it. He's a great wide receiver. He's getting put into a new system that really could be incredible. I think a lot of people, have a lot of bad things to say about the Jets, and rightfully so. Adam Gase is, to not be facetious, the worst coach
ever. Yeah.
He fell ass backwards into every job he's ever had because of Peyton Manning. So I think he's going to be absolutely incredible. When you reach, like I said, you reach because of talent, you reach because you believe in somebody. I believe in Elijah Moore. I think maybe not this year, but man, I'll eat my shoes if that kid isn't a stud in the next 3 years.
I'm with you, and that's why I'm never going to be able to get him in our dynasty draft because there's no way he makes it past the 9th. So
someone has to draft him before the 9th because I've taken him every single mock draft of the 9th.
I am a little disappointed though because Damian Harris went off the board right before me at the 9-9. I really love Damian Harris as a Patriots fan. Like, I've been pretty hyped on him for the last few years, and this is the year where I expect him to get a lot of touches. But he's not going to be on my team in this mock draft. I'm looking at some dog shit, and I think I'm going to reach here.
Oh, don't do it.
It's tough. I'm looking at some rookie wide receivers. I got Randall Moore and Terrence Marshall on the board. I also have a second-year guy with Henry Ruggs. I don't want James Conner. Not a dynasty. I mean,
I don't want James Conner. Don't take James Conner. I wouldn't take James Conner.
I just think also James Conner is such a boring pick. It's like picking Mike Davis. Like, I don't want to watch that every week personally. But if you're trying to pick with your head, Jake isn't, because he's picking Jets every single week. He's going to watch the AFC East bullshit games on a regular basis. But give me Terrence Marshall.
A lot of garbage on the board.
Yeah, just give me Terrence Marshall here.
You sniped him out. See, I love getting Terrence Marshall a little bit later. I've been able to do what I'm hoping I'll be able to do here. Pick somebody so that I can talk to the people about what I want to do.
Here, I'm looking at a lot of garbage, but also some picks that I wouldn't mind having. I'm looking at Darnell Mooney, and I know he doesn't make it back to me, so I'm taking Darnell Mooney here.
Man, he's going to be so good.
If you're taking Elijah Moore, I'm taking Mooney off the board.
I love Elijah Moore because he's an incredible player, and Darnell Mooney is also an incredible player. But God, that dude is going to have some serious opportunity. I mean,
that's all you need.
Allen Robinson's gone.
You don't even have to be an incredible player.
And they just drafted like their future quarterback. This dude is going to be Allen Robinson after this year, and Allen Robinson's an incredible value. You just picked him up in the 10th.
That's what I'm saying.
It's ridiculous.
I've
got him in the 11th. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so you're not getting him. Just so you know, you can get used to that.
Yeah, I know I'm not getting him. That one hurts. At least I get Elijah Moore.
Why don't you pick Chris Herndon in this round? You need a tight end, don't you? Why don't you pick Chris Herndon, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. I'm actually considering your guy, Michael Gallup.
Yeah, he's my guy for me. I love Michael Gallup.
Yeah. So Michael Gallup, people look. John and I have a distaste. Well, John has a distaste for Michael Gallup because John played Michael Gallup and he goosed, and John lost to me.
Yeah, I lost to you.
Right? Yeah,
I would have won if I had played Tyler Lockett, and then I still would have lost in the championship regardless. But it would have been nice to beat Jake and have some bragging rights.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Michael Gallup here. He's on a contract year. They don't need him in Dallas. He's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to be more fantasy relevant. He is better than the current situation he's in. If they didn't have Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, he would be a better wide receiver.
Absolutely.
And he's still good. So I'm taking him right there. Almost accidentally hit an injured Marquise Brown. So I'm glad I didn't do that.
Hey, it happens. But yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown there, dude. If you're gonna stack up on shitty team players,
oh no, I don't really want him on Ross St. Brown. I don't want any Detroit. I'm taking Tony Pollard.
you son of a bitch. Why? You don't?
Yeah,
why?
well,
There's no reason. You think he's gonna take over for Zeke in 2 years? I don't think he does.
I think he's going to get a decent amount of work, and I think Zeke's going to get injured.
That's a fucking shitty thing to bet on.
I think Zeke's had it too good for too long. I think that absolute worst case scenario for me in that pick, Zeke is pretty good, and Tony continues to play behind him and show that when he's given the workload, he can do it. And as soon as he has the opportunity, he'll get it.
I hate that.
Really, every time.
Yeah, I just like that entire philosophy. But I'm taking Tom Brady here in the 11th round to throw to my Chris Godwin, and then also he's going to go ahead and throw to my Antonio Brown.
That's the money pick right there, dude. I've been doing that at every opportunity I can.
It's the easiest pick
Godwin,
ever.
You can start both those guys at any. It's insane.
My receivers are insane. I have Ezekiel Elliott and Najee Harris at running back. That's all I have. Really.
Here's the other thing I'm doing. I'm also taking Alexander Madison.
Yeah, I mean,
those are top two handcuffs. They're both. If anybody goes out,
my only reservation there is he did have opportunity last year when Dalvin Cook was hurt and he did nothing with it. So I'd be a little concerned. Just if you're planning on starting him, I feel like he's not going to help you out.
The second pick here, this one, if you hadn't taken Darren Waller, I knew this one would sting. But either way, I'm taking Troutman here.
Good pick.
I think you look at the Saints. They need bodies right now. Their wide receiver one is a guy by the name of Callaway.
Yeah, they have Callaway, and they also have the guy who's never done shit for them. His name escapes me.
Tre'Quan
Smith. Yeah, he is just a non-factor on that team. He never has been. He never will be. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about him. But here I am. We're in the 13th round now, so we're winding down. But Russell Gage is on the board, and I already have a million wide receivers on my team. But
I'm taking Russell
Gage. That is really tough to pass up.
He's going to be, he gets Calvin Ridley's workload, hopefully. Even if he doesn't, he's still, I'm sorry, you're going to cover Calvin Ridley. And
also the Falcons are going to be a bad team. So their defense sucks. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Their offense might be great.
I was going to say, their offense is going to be,
So that works in our favor, obviously. So, yeah, no, Russell Gage is the pick.
Go for it.
Hopefully I can maybe get a running back on the turn here. Stevenson's off the board. Fuck. Well, I didn't really want Ramondre Stevenson anyway, but
I don't know why anybody, I don't know. He had a breakaway against backups. I don't know. It's not that exciting.
Patriots running backs aren't exciting at all anyway. So right here, you're looking at dog shit in the 14th round. Let's be honest. Mac Jones is on the board. We got Marvin Jones in Jacksonville, who I very well think could be the number one. I don't want I don't need another receiver. That's the thing. It's like my needs are not here.
That's part of the reason I am absolutely loading up on running back early.
You know who I'm going to take? I'm taking Rashad Penny right here. I
think Rashad Penny is a great pick.
Yeah.
There's been nothing coming out of camp about him being all injured,
and they want to run the ball, dude. Chris Carson goes down, which he did last year for half the year. Guess who's getting the ball? Rashad Penny.
Yeah, I've been picking up Rashad Penny and DJ Dallas at every opportunity.
And they're not going to give a ball to a guy named DJ Dallas.
And Marvin Jones is a fantastic pick at the 14th. And Bryan Edwards is my other great pick.
I don't think that's a very good pick. He's going to be the fifth guy on the depth chart. But yeah, I'll give you Bryan Edwards there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the 15th round. He's 6'3", 215. Got good athletic profile. People have been saying wild things about him. I don't know if you've heard any of the stuff about camp. They've been calling him T.O. and they really are.
Who's been saying that though?
Sure.
Has it been John Gruden, who is just a total troll, or
no? It's not John Gruden. It's beat reporters. I
feel like any Raiders beat reporter is a fucking psychopath. So I don't know if I can. Great if he's T.O. That's probably not good for the image of the team. But if he's a good player, that's awesome.
I don't think that's what they meant. I don't think
this
guy's an asshole.
This guy fucking sucks. He's a dick.
Bryan Edwards is a total asshole.
No, here.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Sam Darnold here. Just for the hope that he ends up being useful for fantasy with the new system. I think that he's got a lot of good weapons.
And if he is, you get a stack with Terrace Marshall, who is, I don't know if have you watched anything from camp of Terrace?
I haven't.
Did you see, dude, there's this video, actually might just be a picture of Terrace catching the ball, and you can see Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore like watching from the sidelines. DJ Moore, do you know how athletic DJ Moore is?
I do. I
He's
just,
a freak.
obviously, he just can't score
He's a
touchdowns.
freak.
That's the only thing.
Well, I mean, when you've had Teddy Two Gloves throwing the ball, dude, I don't blame you.
Well,
That's it then, John.
yeah, we are going to
That's
cap
our-
it right
that's our
there.
draft.
I think we should, if you want to go ahead and pause the draft, Jake, we'll go over our full teams right quick here. We actually are going to post them on Instagram, and you guys can go ahead and vote which one you think is a better lineup. I think
You know which one's a better lineup.
yeah, it's mine. It's the one who doesn't have a full Jets roster on their team.
I'm sorry, would you like to start Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Austin Eckler, and Javonte Williams when he blows up?
Do you want
or
to start a literal
Zeke?
fish at tight end? I don't think so.
And Najee Harris. I mean, Najee Harris hasn't even done anything. For all we know, he doesn't have legs.
Well, I saw him running the ball in the Hall of Fame game. He can carry a football. I know that. I know that Mason
Yeah, I'll
Rudolph
see
can
it
give him
when
the
I
ball,
believe
so
it,
that's
yeah.
all I need to see. But anyways, yeah, Jake, what do you got on your what's your roster?
All right. So we got Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Austin Eckler, Lamar Jackson, Javonte Williams. Let me say, I love that starting five.
I agree. I think that's pretty great.
Fantastic. That's a great mix of incredible right now, going to be good, and already good. So that's great. Start Chase Claypool, Michael Carter, both big upside guys. That's two big upside picks. Robbie Anderson, floor guy. He's a floor pick for me. You know, something to be a little bit stabilizing in wide receiver. Elijah Moore, huge upside.
Huge.
I truly believe Elijah Moore has top 5 wide receiver upside. Everything I've seen from him is that good. And
Not this
he could
year.
be the guy. He's got a no, not this year.
Okay,
No,
I'm like top
no,
5.
no.
Jesus, Howard,
No.
that is
No, he does
quite
not
the
have
claim.
top 5. Maybe wide receiver 2 this year. I'm saying on the whole, he has the upside to be a top 5 guy at some point in his career.
Okay.
Which you can't say about everybody. And then I've got Troutman, who's my tight end, which could go either way, but at the end of the day, I paid a 13th for
If
him.
he
so I
busts,
don't
that's
care.
going to be really annoying because he's had quite a bit of hype. The fish.
And to finish it up, I've got Jones and Marvin Jones, who, to me, clear cut, he's going to have some kind of floor. You don't pay a guy to come in and do nothing with him. Brian Edwards. I believe in Brian Edwards. I think he's got a great athletic profile. People have been saying good things about him. People are going to key in on Darren Waller at some point. They're going to have to go to different guys. So that's my thought process with it. And again, so, some of these guys are the best available. So it's like, well, I wouldn't make an argument for Brian Edwards over a lot of other guys, but Brian Edwards over Nico Collins or Diami Brown. Yeah.
Or the kicker for the Atlanta Falcons. You gotta.
That's true.
You gotta.
Well, I mean, Justin Tucker went off before. I didn't even get a chance to get Justin Tucker.
Damn it. Well, you can always get the
Yeah.
Jets kicker. I know that one's probably still available.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up. I got Zeke in the first round. We got Najee Harris, who is he's going to be incredible talent. Honestly, I would be very surprised.
I was
if he
joking
busted.
around, but
Najee Harris in the second round.
they give the work to their running backs there too. They give the work.
He's going to be a 3-down back. He's going to get the workload. They're going to throw the ball to him. It's going to be awesome. He's going to be useful this year. He's not going to pull a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to be great. So I'm really happy with that. We got Waller in the third. It's Darren Waller. He's a fucking monster as a tight end. I really couldn't pass him up. And then we got 4 wide receivers in a row with Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, and Shenault. I mean, good luck.
That's a solid crew.
Good luck.
That's a solid crew. Yeah, if really all that depends on is Cooper staying healthy and Shenault actually being what
delivering,
he might be.
yeah, which he might not. Which it's very possible that Marvin Jones somehow gets the work unless he breaks his ankle halfway through the
man.
season. Who knows?
I hate your wide receivers are really good.
But I am definitely lacking at depth in running back, which everybody is though. It's hard to get a lot of depth at running back unless other than you're the only team that has depth at running back. So you got to give somewhere on your roster. But yeah, we also have AJ Dillon, Terrence Marshall, Mooney, Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, Russell Gage, Penny, and Sam Darnold in the 15th. I think it's solid. I'm pretty happy with that team. It's about what I've been drafting normally anyway, give or take getting a tight end in the 3rd round or waiting until later. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I would not be upset if that was my team come draft day. So yeah.
That's I'm happy. I'm happy with either team. I think they're both solid. You got some second year wide receivers there that are just. I mean, Darnell Mooney. not often in fantasy does something feel guaranteed, but Darnell Mooney feels guaranteed.
Yeah,
if you watch
exactly,
you watch any of his tape from last year, it is quarterback play that's holding him back. So
that is unfortunately the case in Chicago, but I think things are about to change, fortunately. Well, we're definitely running pretty late here, but it happens. It's the first episode.
That's fine.
We're gonna cut it down. We'll probably cut 30 minutes out of this, but this was great. This has been awesome, guys. I think this went really well. But if you have listened this far, it's very much appreciated. You can stay up to date with everything Those Fantasy Dudes on Instagram at Those Fantasy Dudes or Facebook at Those Fantasy Dudes as well. We're going to be posting.
We're going to be. We'll be doing some start sits too.
Start sits, look forward to Sunday mornings. We're probably gonna
my little Instagram plug.
Yeah,
I'll Sunday mornings you come talk to me, and I'll have some very opinionated conversations. Sunday morning, brother, we got games.
Yep, I gotta go to church, but no, I'm just kidding.
The Lord,
no, it's football day. The Lord loves Tom Brady. We already know
that's
that.
right. Yep.
No, but yeah,
right.
Thanks for listening, guys. Definitely go ahead and follow us on those social media platforms. Look forward to episodes every single Wednesday where you can listen to us talk about fantasy. Looking forward to it. We will see you next week.
Yeah, keep a watch out. We're going to do a total recap on our draft and sort of talk about, what we wish we'd gotten better, what we view for the outlook of our team, and kind of our opinions on our league mates teams. So,
yeah, we're going to talk a lot of shit about people who have no way to defend themselves. It's going to be fantastic.
So much trash. We're going to bring people on here and just berate them.
Oh, it's going to be fucking great. Yeah. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. Make sure to tune in next week and follow us at Those Fantasy Dudes on Instagram.